I hope that Mithun and there's not room for a Mithun or an Ariful in the squad because you have to also remember that we have Saifuddin. Saifuddin's
Yep.
an all rounder. He's going to probably bat 8 or 9, something somewhere around there. Uh, we might actually.
All right, guys. So welcome to the 23rd episode of the Yorker. In this episode, we're going to cover the upcoming ODI series. The first match will be on the 9th, 2 a.m. Eastern Time, and more. It'll be what 9 a.m. Bangladesh time, I guess, or 10 a.m. Whatever it is. So it's coming up pretty soon. So we just wanted to get together, three of us, and Roey here. You have Rinat and Alfie as well here with us. So and the practice match took place today. It went pretty good, I would say. That means into form straight away. Shomo hit a century as well, which is great news because that's one guy we want to see
Yeah.
him score runs. So I'm feeling pretty confident after seeing those guys. What do you guys think? What do you think, Alfie?
Yeah, we really need to make sure that we don't get complacent and lose a game or, we should have had a 3-0 series win in West Indies when we played them a few months ago, but we had, I think it was the second match, I think that we lost from a winning position, and I think we had to get 8 runs off the final over, and we didn't get it. And they just batted too slowly. They were off to a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they scored like 80 runs in the first 10 overs. They were only chasing 270, and then they just slowed down because they got, and you could tell that it was because they were complacent. They were like, oh, we're so far ahead of the asking rate, and then they slow, and then they had a
Yes,
typical Bangladesh collapse or Bangladesh choke, I guess you
right.
could say.
And one
Um,
of the interesting things about this series is I think it's just as much about a West Indies uh, than it is than it is for us because we have kind of put out the same squad. If you look at all the guys in the ODI and West Indies, Windies, they're in the experimentation stage where they're trying out new guys all the time. And but I was still surprised that they still their squad is pretty much similar too. Only that Jason Holder, the captain, he's not there.
yeah,
But I just what I want to say about the bowling. I was surprised they only had Kemar Roach, none of the other traditional fast bowlers that they have, the likes of say Cottrell or Gabriel. So I guess they're going with the spin strategy.
they're
And
probably going with more of a spin strategy. They've got this new bowler, O'Shane Thomas, who I think is
oh,
really, really quick.
oh,
Um,
I didn't know
yeah,
that. Huh.
yeah. He debuted in India recently, I think, and he was like bowling over 150 Ks. So he's a really, really fast bowler. But that just on Bangladesh pitches, that just means with no control, that's just not going to be. I mean, it's not going to do anything.
Right. And their spin department too. I mean, yeah, they got Bishu, but some of their other specialists, I don't see them like Ashley Nurse or Sam Budry. I'm not seeing them in the squad. So
Well, Nurse is not in the squad. Hmm, I didn't know that.
he didn't play in the practice match. I
He
don't know
didn't
if
play him. Okay, he didn't play in practice.
yeah, I don't know if he's in the squad or not. But selection wise, what do you think, Reynald? How do their guys match up? And what are they thinking? What are West Indies thinking in this series?
Well, I think they have a bunch of, bits and pieces players. If you look at it, they have, Broadweight. They have this guy called Fabian Allen. They have Chemo Paul. All these guys, they can bat and bowl pretty well. But I just don't know how well they would perform as a specialist role.
Yeah.
So, it could work. It could work on their days. They would contribute in all departments, and that's probably very helpful. But I just don't know how effective they will be in our conditions in either batting or bowling because their batting strategies sort of, that more aggressive strategy, which I don't think is going to work really well against our bowlers particularly.
Right.
So
And
yeah, it's not the best squad, I would say, for them.
exactly.
The,
It just
the
doesn't. Yeah, go ahead, Alfie.
the West Indies they're kind of like a hit or miss team. They have a batting lineup that is built upon really just hitting big. Chris Gale is pretty much, I guess, the only player that they have that's like a consistent threat. But he's not in the squad, and I think he's just going to be sticking around for the World Cup. Or he did play in the series, interestingly enough, against a few months ago in Bangladesh that summer, and he had one good innings, I think. Um, but the West Indies, the main thing is they just have power hitters, really.
Right. Maybe they're trying to offset all that with just one player, Shea Hope, because he's the other way. We have seen how slowly he scores. His run rate's terrible in the
Yeah,
ODI game.
yeah.
So again, it's just too little or too much. They don't have the right type of strike rate. I feel they don't have enough of those guys in the squad right now.
They don't
Uh,
have, yeah, they just don't have the players that are suited for ODI format or maybe the modern game. Their bowling is not very good. So
mhm.
then if your bowling's not very good, then your batting has to, like England's bowling is also not good at all. But England's the number one ranked team in ODIs. Why? Because they bat all the way down to number 11. And then,
Yep.
or at least they bat to like 10 or 9. And their batsmen are just incredible hitters of the ball. Um, West Indies have good hitters. We have to remember they were
Yeah,
not so long ago
for
the
sure.
best T20 team in the world. So they have the power ability, and they can beat any team on their day. And so they can certainly beat Bangladesh
Yep.
if they get going. If we have a
I
bad day,
was
they can certainly beat us.
absolutely. I was just gonna say one guy that impressed me was Rahman Powell in the last series, and
Mm-hmm.
he's still in there, and
Mm-hmm.
so was Brathwaite, and Kimo Paul can hit a bit too. So they have these guys in the end who can
Mm-hmm.
take you by surprise. So we have to be
Yeah,
careful
and
about that.
we're forgetting their best player
Their
already.
best player,
He's very young, Shimron Hetmeyer,
Shimran.
Oh,
and
the main man,
yeah.
Shimron.
So
Yeah.
it's really going to come down to how well uh, Shea Hope and Shimron Hetmeyer can play. Shea Hope has got to bat at a higher strike rate than he's been batting. I think he did a very good job in India. And at once, I think after 3 or 4 games, the series was a draw. It was a tied series going into like the fourth and fifth games in the India series, surprisingly. They managed to tie a game, and then they won one. So the West Indies can be a dangerous team in limited overs. I expect us to win the series,
Yeah.
and only question is, are we going to win 2-1 or 3-0? And I would obviously hope we win 3-0. But that being said, the West Indies they could win. They could beat us at any time, at any moment. So we
Yeah.
can't be complacent.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel we are complacent. I don't know how you guys feel. I feel we are.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
Bangladesh team gets complacent more easily than I think any other team in world cricket. And that's if they win one game, they'll forget that they lost the 10 games previous to that one game. So that's an unfortunate thing that happens. I feel like with our players, yeah.
I think complacency kind of is, it's not that much in ODIs with Mashrafi as a captain.
Mm.
He kind of takes every game seriously. Like, he's that kind of captain who takes like his Dhaka Premier League games very seriously. So I can tell you that he's not going to be complacent by any means.
No, he's
But
not.
it's the players, and I think with Tamim back, who is again, he's one of the more mature players. Shakib has been maturing post injury, surprisingly. So we should be okay in terms of complacency. It's just a matter of just walking in there confident. I think that.
Yeah. And the thing is, the team is going to be confident because they're automatically twice as confident when they walk in with the green shirts on as opposed to the white ones on. And
Sure.
and they won the test series, so they're going to be looking for that momentum. And and this is getting very way ahead of ourselves, but I feel like we're building some really good momentum heading into the World Cup. Even if the key is going to be how we do in the New Zealand series. That ODI series is going to be critical. And hopefully we can keep up the momentum. And
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say this again and again, but I feel like if we did specialize more, it would help
Hmm.
us because one example is Mithun. We saw him do pretty well in the ODIs,
Hmm.
some good innings here and there, and just working on his game. But now you throw him into tests, and now I wonder if his confidence got shattered, and when he comes back to the ODI side, if he's going to be the same guy or not. And even with someone like Ariful, he's someone who started off in T20s,
Yeah.
but then he just had to put him in the test squad, and now he's he's probably going to play. I don't know if he's going to be selected for the ODI game. But
Well, the thing is, now that we have Tamim and Shakib back, that's two batting spots gone. So I hope that Mithun and there's not room for a Mithun or an Ariful in the squad, because you have to also remember that we have Saifuddin. Saifuddin's
yep,
an all rounder. He's going to probably bat 8 or 9, somewhere around there. Uh, we might actually even see a situation where Rubel's not in the 11 because we have Ronnie, we have Abu Haider Ronnie. So.
I think Rubel's up the hierarchy when choosing the
It
bowlers
is,
for ODI. No, just for the
yeah,
ODI. In T20,
right, right.
I think I'm trying to put myself into the minds of the selectors. I think
Hmm.
Haider got the nod in T20, but for Rubel, for ODI,
I
it's still.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think that's, I don't know. I feel like Abu Haider Rani could be a really really good ODI bowler.
I
But
love
yeah,
Ronnie.
yeah, I love him too. But you have to
Yeah.
say that with Rubel's with his experience, that he probably is the third seamer. Uh,
Yeah.
Well, good thing for Ronnie is he may not have to wait a lot longer because this could potentially be the last home series for Mashrafi. Uh,
hmm
because we don't have any more home series. If
Right.
he decides to retire, and he said
hmm
he will assess after the World Cup, so I think there's a good possibility. So
Yeah, there's a
I
really good
wouldn't wait.
possibility because he's getting pretty old. I don't see because he
He's
can't make it
getting
for the yeah.
he's getting busy too. So more
Yeah,
than old,
yeah.
he's getting very busy. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Uh,
But yeah, I think
Speaking of
yeah.
age, before I forget, I just want to say that some of the more established guys on Wendy's, they're pretty
hmm
old too. So I don't want
Mhm.
people to look at the squad and say the stars are not there. Well, guess what? All the stars are above 35. So the squad that they have right now, they're
hmm
building on that. This is going to be. They're also building for the World Cup, so this is going to be their core squad moving along. Any star who comes back, I don't feel like they'll add much. Plus, they're old. They're all plus 35. Like Badri, I was talking about, like he's actually 35. So I was kind of
Yeah,
shocked.
he's pretty old. Gale's really old.
See,
Gale's like 38 or 39.
But the Bravo
Yeah.
brothers, both of them above 35. So
No, Darren Bravo's young. He's like about 30, I think. He's not young, but he's not old either. He was a young player a few years ago. But
yeah,
Darren Bravo, everyone says a lot. He's a good test batsman. He's not a good ODI batsman. He has a very low strike rate. His strike rate's like lower than Shea Hope's.
I think the reason they included Marlon Samuels and Darren Bravo is
Samuels, right?
because
Yeah.
of Samuels. Yeah, is because West Indies has that unpredictability. I think this is their effort to actually stabilize the batting attack a little bit, which I think will only work against them because the only way they will actually beat Bangladesh is by that one-off day where everyone hits and plays a very aggressive innings, because playing slow against Bangladesh is not going to work. At Bangladesh will outscore you 9.9 out of 10 days.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I say this very confidently with with
Wow.
with a full strength batting attack now. So it's I don't know. It's gonna work against them, I think. But going back to the squads between the two teams, I think West Indies and Bangladesh are in two different situations. West Indies is trying to build a squad for for the next World Cup, where Bangladesh right now they kind of know the squad they're going to have for the World Cup. It's just a matter of getting that consistency of lineup. So it's basically having that consistency in their selection process. So I think from that point of view, it's very important that they do play Rubel. I would be more inclined to sit out Saifuddin right now and play Rubel, because Rubel hasn't played regularly for a long time now,
Yeah.
and I think we kind of need to get him in the rhythm. For seamers, it's all about rhythm, and even after
hmm
he plays here, he's most likely going to be dropped for the T20 series, so he's going to sit there. Then
Yeah.
he's not going to play the test in New Zealand, right? So these
We
gaps are
hope.
not going to be good
We
for him.
hope.
We hope, yeah. So, so I really want him to be in a rhythm though, because we will need him in England for sure.
Because
I would back him over Ronnie and Saifuddin and Mustafiz in English conditions. So I think he should be playing.
Yeah. Thought just came into my mind, like how spoiled we are as a team that we have Shakib Al Hassan, who can both bat and bowl.
yeah,
So that kind of helps us with the selections. That we have a main bowler and a same guy is also a main batsman, so it gives our side a good balance. Uh,
Yeah,
let's get into the selections, and
yeah,
let's approach it this time from the bowling. So I guess we all have Rubel and Mustafiz and Mushrafay in there as the three pace bowlers, right?
yeah,
So we need a spinner, of course, in the squad because you never know what
yeah.
you're getting. And I see this in cricket all the time. People blaming everything on the pitch. Well, if that's the case, then and if you see the ball turning, what are you going to do? You can't blame the selectors for not having a spinner in there. So it's a must. A spinner, good quality spin bowling is a must for any team out there. So yeah, Alfie.
I feel like spinners. I mean, obviously it's going to be Shaki main spinner, and then but the specialist spinner slot will probably go. But actually, probably I don't think
Miraz
we've been
too,
using.
don't forget.
We have Miraz. We have
Yeah.
Miraz. I think he's the specialist spinner, and he'll just bat at 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's just how it's going to be. So yeah, we're gonna have Fizz and Rubel, and Fizz and Mash. That's 3 fast bowlers.
Dude, you're just messing it up with when you're going from the bottom. It just confuses me.
Huh?
Go from the top.
Oh.
Does it? All right. That's cool.
So obviously we have Tamim, right?
Yeah.
And then
Thank
we'll
you.
have Imrul or Shommo. Who would you guys go with
You
here?
need to
I
have
would
both of
go
them.
with Imrul. I would go with Imrul, and I would go with Shomo at number 3.
Same here.
You know what? I actually kind of like that idea. I like that idea. We get that
Yeah.
solidity. We get Imrul's solidity at the top. But you know what? The
How
problem.
can you not have him rule after what he did?
Yeah, this guy's been a freak in scoring runs.
No,
right?
he's been batting very well. Don't get me wrong, but Shomo just hit 100 in the tour match, and he just hit 100 in the last game against Zimbabwe. So he's got back-to-back hundreds now, and he's a game-changing player. I feel like in white ball cricket. But the problem is with Imrul has to bat fast in order to be a decent partner for Tamim, because we know that Tamim is going to bat slowly. He's going to bat. And he's going to bat until the 30th over, 40th over.
To be honest, though, I think with Leeton gone, he may actually bat a little bit more aggressive. If he finds reliable partners on the other end, we know Tamim can score quicker.
Yeah.
And you know, the practice match is only an indication that he's willing to play a more aggressive game.
Well,
I think. This is just a practice. I think he was just trying to get into the groove.
Yeah.
My theory. I think that after the last World Cup or whatever, maybe Hathura Singha had a chat with Tamim or someone, and they were like, "Look, man, you are too good a player to be averaging 29, not even averaging 30." Yeah. And I mean, what are you doing, man? You know, like Shakib is doing well, Mushi's doing well. Now Riyadh stepped up at that World Cup. So Riyadh, who was like the worst of our starting players in the ODI team, stepped up. So I think Tamim, I think he just matured also. I think he hit like age 26, 27. He was like, yeah, you know, I got to stop eating biryani every day and start working out.
Role.
He understood his role. And I think that his role, given to him by the team, and I think the one that he has embraced is also, because Tamim can score at 150 strike rate every day, any game, against any team. I think they've said that, you know what, it's more important if you lay a solid foundation for the team, bat at least to the 30th over. At least to the 30th over.
Yes, Imran can do it. The answer is yes, because he can hit 6s and 4s.
He can hit 6s. He's a good hooker and puller of the ball. He's one of our best hookers and pullers, actually.
Right. So the answer.
Our entire top 7 can hit really well.
Right. So
I mean, there's not one play.
The problem is 3. I think you can give Shomo a shot and see how he does.
Absolutely.
I would too. Yeah, I would give him a shot. I would bring Shakib at number 4, and then just leave the Bhaira Bhais, just for some protection down the order. And
You're funny, man.
But at the same time, during the death overs, I think Mushfiq and Riyad are the best hitters we have
They are,
for
yeah.
death overs. I think they're even better than Shakib, and Tamim when
Yeah,
it comes to death
they're
over
better than
hitting.
Shaq. Yeah, yeah.
So if they stay down the order, it's good. If there's a collapse, these two are the best guys to hold it together. And then if we need accelerating, again, these two are the best guys.
That would
So.
that would be Shakib at 4,
Yeah,
and then Mufi
Mushfiq at
Riyad at
5.
5 and 6, and then the
Six.
7 is going to be who do we play at 7?
Well, I'm still gonna suggest this to be Mitun. Again, I just like to be fair with my players. I think he has performed well. He was given a chance after a long time. He came in under a very difficult situation in Asia Cup. He performed there, so I think it's unfair to drop him.
Yeah,
So I would give him a chance there. I don't know. I don't think we will need a number. We will need to rely on number 7
yeah,
to save us with the betting we have up the order.
yeah.
So, but just for the sake of it, I would put him there. Uh, j- just because I don't want to fill up the squad with too many bowlers either. I
Yeah.
kind of want to see Mashrafi using Riyad a little bit more. I think he has been bowling more in the last few series, and he has been doing good. He has been almost a regular partnership breaker. So I rely him on that on too. So yeah, if we go numbers, that's my suggestion though. If you guys want to,
Yeah.
differ on that, you guys can.
Alfred, did you have another player in mind? I kind of agree.
And not from this squad, no. I'm not. I don't know if Mithun is the answer, a long-term answer. But in this squad, there's no other player because you would have to either pick Ariful.
Right.
I mean, maybe he could, but I like Saifuddin better. But
I want Saifuddin to rotate with Mustafiz. Because Fizz, I
Yeah.
feel like, is that type of player. If we ever make it to a final or something, he's gonna be in the 11. So you don't
Yeah.
need to, but you need to rest him. You need
Yeah.
to not let the other guy get too used to Fizz. So you can use him anytime you want. So
yeah,
I'd probably rotate him with Saifuddin. But for the first ODI, I would put Mithun in there.
yeah, I guess Mithun at 7, and then 8 will probably be Miraz because Mash loves to bowl with Miraz in the in the first power play, especially against teams that have left-handed openers. And I think West Indies have left-handed opener. They have a lot of lefty batsmen. So
Right.
I'm pretty sure that that's going to be Miraz opening the bowling. So if Miraz is at 8, and then 9 and then I guess it'd be Rubel, Mash,
we agree. So
Fizz.
you got that part taken care of. Cause
Yeah.
And then, but I would like to see Abu Haider come in twice, play at least 2 games out of the 3, and actually preferably really play 3. But I also want to see Saifuddin, and I think that everyone's gonna probably get a go, especially if we win the first 2 games. I think third game everyone from the bench is gonna come in.
I think differently though. I'll be honest. I think how the team management might think is that they may actually give Saifuddin and Abu Haider Rani all the T20 games. They may save them for that because I think I don't know because Mashrafi is gonna play. I don't think they're gonna rest Mustafiz, even though I agree with Roey that he should be ideally playing 2 games and be rested for 1. But it's just my idea and my guess that Saifuddin and Rani is gonna play all the T20 games because Mashrafi and Rubel disappears at that point, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably what they're thinking.
Man, I really hope Saifuddin and Ronnie get to play at least 2 ODIs each. I don't know if it's going to fit in the squad, if it's going to fit, if Rubel plays all the games. But even Rubel, there's no point for him to play all 3 games. You could rest him, too. Because we have to remember, we have the BPL coming up after this. Then we'll probably have more rounds of Bangladesh Cricket League or National Cricket League before the New Zealand tour. So we do have a lot of games coming up.
Right. It does seem that way, doesn't it, with those 2 guys, Rubel and Fizz.
Yeah.
But in the final, they're going to get the call up. It just matters now how we're going to preserve them.
Yeah.
So they're fit.
And I don't know if you guys saw the thing, but I mean, it's not related to this series, but right before the World Cup, we're having the Tri Series with West Indies and Ireland in Ireland. So that's going to be 4 to 5 games there. So
I think the last Tri Series before the Champions Trophy really helped us too.
Yeah, it did.
The one we played against New Zealand and Ireland. So
Yeah.
it's a very similar situation. and similar conditions. I think it's a very good idea. I'm really happy to see West Indies there instead of Afghanistan, because West Indies is really gonna bring on all those quakes,
Yeah.
which we need a lot of practice against in seaming conditions, especially.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I was thinking a different way that that if we should get to play Afghanistan as much as possible, get familiar with them, so we don't lose to them in the actual World Cup, which is
We
a
need
I don't
possibility.
practice
think I
against
don't
both,
think we will.
right? We need
Yeah,
practice
I don't
against the
think we will
pace
lose against. Yeah.
and the spin.
Um.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna struggle against them in England at least. We should be okay.
Hopefully,
So,
hopefully.
but
But
we
they
need
do
to get
have,
used.
yeah.
True.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
You're basing it on the pitch. Yeah, and
I mean, we're both. I think that I mean, they're the two. I mean, they have two of the better spinners in world cricket going around, in limited overs cricket
no,
going around. So I feel like they could always pose a threat to us.
no, but Rinat's right though. The pitch should mitigate some of that, but it's not going to
You know,
mitigate
it
it
will,
all.
it will, it will, it'll mitigate a lot of it, because in England, if we've seen anything the last several years, these are
It's
wickets
going to be
where 350 is a
yeah,
par score.
yeah, run fest.
And yeah, it's just a run fest.
Right.
Especially Trent Bridge. Trent Bridge is where like the 400 scores are being scored on average almost. So
Right.
I don't know if we have any games in Trent Bridge. We probably do, but yeah.
True. So things are looking really well. I'd say everyone's really happy. The course performing well. The one guy who
Yep.
wasn't performing well, he just got 200s in tests. So naturally, people are expecting Riyadh to do something good in ODI as well.
Mm.
However, it's the same old tape. We talk about the old guys. Let's talk about some of the new guys and what are we expecting. Starting with Shomo, and after that we'll close it out. So Shomo, I feel like he takes a lot of hate, even from you guys. Some of them, like you did, and you felt like he was rightfully dropped. I don't think he was rightfully dropped. I just felt like he should have gotten more games under his
From
belt.
from the ODI team?
Yeah, in the ODI, Shomo.
That's debatable. I've always been a firm believer that Shomo is a very talented player. Yeah, maybe he's got his technical flaws. But he's a stand and deliver type player. He'll hit the ball, and he's a very good hitter of the ball, timer, and just an effortless hitter. But he was out of form for a very long time. Him and Sabir both were in terrible form, and for a really, really long time. I mean, it was series after series. So I feel like we kind of had to drop him because,
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah,
We
that
still
was my
don't
thing.
know if he's back on form because 100
Yeah, we
against
still-
Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
and then one in
In a practice game, yeah, is meaning. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
in Shavar ground, it still doesn't mean anything. So, but he deserves a call based on what he has done so far because he has made use of the opportunities that was offered to him. So
Yeah.
it only makes sense to get him a return. I hope that he shows some kind of substance, even if he doesn't score a lot of runs.
Mhm.
I hope he shows that he is capable of scoring at least 30 to 40 runs.
Yeah.
Just to keep him around the squad, just to keep him in the squad.
Yeah.
When you score like 10 runs in 3 games, it becomes really difficult to keep you in the squad when there's like 5 other people competing and you are nearing a major tournament, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes really difficult. And Shomo, that's what he has been done. When he has been off form, he has been just drop dead terrible. So it became really difficult at one point to give him a spot because he wasn't good with the new ball. He wasn't playing spin well. So where do you play him?
No, it's true. Thanks for reminding me. It's clear to me now why he was dropped. It's actually you could make a case for it certainly. I would have
Yeah.
liked for him to be given more chances simply because I know some other guys got more chances earlier on in their career. I want the same thing to be applied, but I understand we have more expectations.
Well, I
You're
mean,
better
we
team.
we can't really compare from 10 years
Yeah.
or 15 years ago to now. But Shomo, I feel like, is a player who he was deservedly dropped, but he has the talent that he should be brought back. And I'm gonna say
I
this
agree.
here, as opposed to players like Tushar Imran and Naeem Islam. A lot of people want them to be coming back, and I'm like, I don't care how many runs they score at domestic level. Naeem, maybe. Naeem is not, he's not that bad. But Tushar Imran, man, why on earth? I don't care if he's averaging 100 in first-class cricket. I don't want him to come back. He's 35 years old. I don't think he's going to have the fitness. our domestic cricket is.
See, it depends on the format, right? Like, if we're talking about tests and where we lack temperament, you could do with a guy like that in the middle.
Well, but you've also temperament alone's not going to get the job done. You've got to have technique.
I know.
You've got to have a minimum of technique.
But with technique, though, the younger guys are way behind in this format. That's where the issue is. Because in terms of technique, Shomo doesn't have it. Mossadegh, well, he has it, but he hasn't shown. He didn't really show it. Sabir was brought in, and that was a complete disaster. So it's actually their lack of technique too. That makes the case strong for some of the older guys. But that's a different topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's come back to the ODI. Another guy I want to talk about. Again, just talking about the young guys.
But what I was saying is that Shomo, and obviously this is a subjective thing, who has talent, who doesn't. But I believe that Shomo has enough talent to warrant being given more chances over a player who doesn't have that much talent. So, for example, like if Mithun fails
agree.
a few times, I would be like, yeah, get rid of him. But Shomo, I would be willing to give more opportunities to because but that's my personal opinion.
No,
you can't.
No, it's not just talent. The talent you talked about is reflected in his numbers. He still has an average in his first whatever. He played less than 50 ODIs, and he still already has a better average than anyone else in that period of time. I'm talking about people who started out. If we compare everyone's first 40, 30 games, Shomo's the king, right? Based on that logic, I want to keep giving him chances. I want to talk about Miraz as well. Another new guy. We know he's going to be there for a long time. But he's established himself as the second go-to bowler in spin in Bangladesh after Shakib.
Mm-hmm.
His batting, what are you expecting, Rinat? How would you rate Miraz?
I don't think his batting is something that should be a focus for him right now, in this format at least. In ODIs, he should, because he is going to be picked as a specialist bowler. So, he needs to do that job really well. He has been improving in this format, but I'm not sure how effective he will be in all conditions. So, but then we also have that leniency to play at least one specialist spinner. So, he will be played, but we just don't know if he's going to be good enough. So I hope he works on his bowling really well, because let's be honest, as long as we have Mashrafi, he's still, a capable hitter. More capable hitter than Miraz. And at that slot, that number 8 or 9 slot, you kind of need a bigger pinch hitter than, a stable batsman, right? And I'm just talking about based on, what we need right now. Down the road, yes, if he can improve his batting, I see him going up the order. That solves the problem of playing another top order batsman, which we can replace then and play another extra bowler.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
No,
now we don't.
I know. No, you're right. But if that's true, though, isn't he really lucky, Miraz, to be in this ODI squad? Because
no,
he's not doing anything with the bat. You're not expecting. You're just telling him to bowl. I mean, he's a good bowler, but is he how specialist is he as a spinner? In tests, he's done some good things.
If you pick between Oppo and Miraz right now, well, we already have Shakib, so we kind of don't need two of the same.
We don't need another left arm spinner, yeah.
Right. We don't have a leggy, so if we do get a leggy eventually, that's when I think Miraz's spot is going to be in kind of a danger. But until then, there's really no competition for him, right? And the biggest part about him, though, that I really like is that even if he is not a top contributor right now, he's a very smart and thinking cricketer, and I see him as a future leader. So it pays to keep him in the squad for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and he will contribute. He will contribute either with fielding or with decent bowling, or with as a wicket taker, or as an economical bowler, or a little bit with the batting. So he will contribute. He will find ways to contribute. He's kind of like that junior version of Shakib, right?
Yeah, he's right now. I hope that in the next coming couple of years, his batting develops to where he can be basically a right-handed version of Shakib. But right now, he's more of a bowling all-rounder. May not even be that. He might just be a special in ODIs. He might just be a bowler who can maybe just bat a little bit. But you never know. ODIs is the kind of game where 2 sixes could decide the game. And if Miraz could hit those 2 sixes, then that's it.
Well said. So the other young guy is of course Fizz, who's in the squad, because we didn't
Mm.
select Saifuddin and Ronnie for the first squad. So uh, Fizz is the other young guy. He's been doing good. In the middle,
Mhm.
I remember there is a little bit of noise about him being left out. There's some people saying that he shouldn't be, but we knew he was going to come back. He's going to make a return. He's been bowling better.
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
didn't even know. I didn't even know some people were talking about leaving him out. I mean,
I think he's talking
let's
about
find
Eclipse,
those.
that
Let's find those
Eclipse,
fans and shoot them.
that Bangladeshi guy Eclipse who got banned.
no, let's not turn this towards that direction. But what you make of Fizz? I'm interested, especially from Rinat. I know he watched the bowling as well, in swing, out swing, all that technical stuff.
I think Fizz at this point of his career, he should really work on his pace. Uh, he has a very good weapon in his cutter, but we all know how ineffective that can be outside of the subcontinent. And being the bowler he is, being the intelligent bowler he is, he comes from the same class as some of the top bowlers in world cricket right now. He should have his own agenda of developing his game. He has played enough cricket now to get himself established in the international arena. So at this point, he should work on his own to sort of take his game to the next level.
Yeah.
Not just restrict himself as the best seamer in Bangladesh, but work his way up to being like the top five, one of the top five seamers in the world, because he's certainly capable of doing that.
Right.
So I hope he does that. I hope
Well,
he works on his pace a little bit before the World Cup, because if he can sort of bowl those, even those high 130s and low 140 deliveries, his cutters becomes more effective, and he is gonna be, more lethal in English conditions.
I
What you were
think
saying?
that I think that for Fizz, by the numbers, he's already not just top five. He's probably the best fast bowler in world cricket. The
Oh,
only guys that are close to him would be Hassan Ali, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mitchell Stark. And I think he has better averages than all of them. But obviously, on a more objective level, he's not the best fast bowler in the world in
yeah.
ODI cricket. He's maybe one of the top 5 or 6 fast bowlers, but he's not the best. You got
I
to
think
throw Trent.
sometimes he doesn't pass the eye test. Like I have this memory of him in the
Hmm.
last, I forget it was T20 or ODI, probably ODI. He
Hmm.
kept bowling short and bouncers to Brathwaite, and he
Hmm.
got hit for 2 sixes, but then he also got a wicket by doing that. So that's
In the
probably
West, in
yeah.
the West
Because that
Indies
was the
series,
plan.
that was his
That was the
plan, and
against
it's not
against
going to come off all the time. Yeah.
no, against guys like Carlos. They're the kind of guys. They're bottom-handed hitters. You bowl them in the slots, even Yorkers. Even if they manage to get a little bit bad on the Yorkers, they can still clear the boundaries. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why there's usually a ploy against big hitters to bowl them bouncers in the hope of getting a top edge,
Yeah.
right? So
Especially it's slower ball bouncers, and that way you can, they'll
yeah,
mistime it, and
Carlos can hit 2 sixes. If he gets out on the third, that 12 that's 12 runs for one wicket.
yeah,
Bowler still wins. Bowler still wins.
bowler still wins.
That,
Yeah. Now when
yeah,
when you get in for 5, 6, 6, I mean when you start giving up 30 and 40 runs
But I mean,
yeah.
and can't get a bowler out, then you're in trouble.
I don't.
Yeah.
But you understand though, Rinat, right? It does look ugly. Like those two deliveries.
It does.
It's
I mean,
slow, like you said. It's not even fast. It's slow, just short, and he gets punked.
Well,
Yeah.
it's intentionally slow. He's slow. He's bowling a cutter bouncer, attempting to get the batsman out. When you're saying he didn't pass the eye test, I think a lot of people, especially a lot of non-Bangladeshi people, like to troll him by saying that he's not a real fast bowler, that he just bowls cutters. That's his primary weapon, and I think he does over rely on the cutter maybe a little bit, and that's why I think he hasn't really developed swing. But honestly, I would like to see what I would like to see, because I don't want to see a repeat of what happened in the Champions Trophy. Fizz took just one wicket in the entire tournament and had a bad average, bad economy rate. Because he was bowling, I feel, the wrong lengths, the wrong lines and lengths throughout the Champions Trophy. I suspect maybe he was bowling a lot of half volleys, trying to bowl fuller, to try to get the ball to swing in English conditions. But no one was really swinging the ball in England. So that's one thing that I hope he recognizes. You know, if we're not playing the first game in the World Cup, I think he needs to watch all the games in the World Cup before and see, is the ball swinging? If the ball's not swinging, and it may not, if it's a very hot summer in England, if the sun is out, the ball and the white ball is probably not going to swing. So then he needs to focus on bowling more of a good length, back of a length delivery instead of bowling full. Because if you bowl full, and mix it up, and mixing it up is critical.
Because one thing Fizz does have, Fizz actually has a really good Yorker. I don't see him bowling that very often in ODIs and tests. He does it well in T20s. He would still bowl a lot of Yorkers in T20s. But in ODIs, I think he needs to start mixing it up just to keep that unpredictability. Because, you know, if you throw in a Yorker, you know, every once in a while, you keep the batsman guessing, right? If not, then, you know, it just makes it easier to read his cutters because they just know what length it's coming at. So
exactly, I think that, and I would like to see him and anyone. Abulhaider Rani also bowls a very good Yorker. I'd like to see these guys bowling Yorkers at the beginning of an innings, not just relying on it in the death. I mean, in the death, obviously, you might bowl 3 or 4 Yorkers or attempt to bowl 3 or 4 Yorkers in an over. In the opening spell, you don't need to bowl that many, but just slip a Yorker in there on the stumps, see if you can get a batsman out.
Right.
Because the thing is, when you have guys like Fizz and Ronnie who are not really bowling quick, so when you're bowling good length early overs with the fielding restrictions and there's not a lot of swing, you know, it's not really a difficult thing for top order batsmen to, you know, just chip it over, you know, play those chip shots and, you know, get those boundaries. Good length works for bowlers that has, you know, dead good accuracy and they can swing the ball, you know, and you have 2 or 3 slips for them. It works. But for them, it's better if they mix it up. They bowl some Yorkers, bowl some bouncers, and, you know, their strength is their unpredictability at that point.
Right. I hope coach is listening, and Alfie, I'll let you finish your point.
Oh no, I mean, I thought that Fizz last year in the Champions Trophy was bowling a little too full. He was getting driven constantly for 4, for 2, for 3. He was going at 8, 9 runs and over. So I'd like to see him rein that in. I do feel that he's getting into a very good rhythm bowling wise since his most recent injury. And I hope he can continue that, and I'm pretty sure he will against West Indies at home. But what's going to be critical is how he bowls in New Zealand, because the New Zealand conditions will be fairly similar to the conditions that we're going to see in England. So that's going to be a big series coming up. Yeah.
Sure. So all eyes on Mash, soon to be MP probably, and his Tigers in the first ODI. And if the young guys perform, back up the senior guys, I'm very confident of the victory. Or even if the seniors don't perform, Shumo alone is good enough, or on the bowling side, Fizz alone is good enough to take the game away. So that's why I kind of focus more on the youngsters. So thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you guys as well. As always,
absolutely.
Signing off. Peace.
All right. It's a lot of